guys, and welcome back to Foodie In-Training. Today I want to share my recipe for my Death by Chocolate bundt cake, and it's incredible. I have been making this cake for about 27 years or almost 27 years, and I live in the suburbs of Cincinnati and been living here in Cincinnati for right around 25 years now. And when I moved here and started making this cake for different school functions or whatever, I was told when the first person who had eaten a piece of this particular cake, they said, "Oh, that's the Indian Hill cake." And it's like, okay, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Well, Indian Hill is a very affluent neighborhood here in my area, just a few miles away from me. So that tells you I'm not in an affluent area, obviously. So, but I've always called it Death by Chocolate cake. So let's get started. The first things, I've got all my ingredients laid out here, and I wanted to share those with you. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my box Ghirardelli dark chocolate cake. We're going to ignore all of the directions on the background, listen at me, on the back of the box, because I don't follow those. I have never followed the back of a cake box recipe. I like using their cake flour, and that's the reason I purchased them. But I'm going to make it my way, and I want to show you how to do it too, because it's so much better than the box recipe. Then I'm using a box of white chocolate Jell-O instant pudding. I'm going to use a large bag of the Nestle Toll House milk chocolate morsels, and this is the 11.5-ounce bag. I'm going to use 3 eggs, and these are large eggs. I'm also going to use 3/4 of a cup of milk and 1/3 cup of melted butter. And all of this is going to go into making the cake itself. I also have a couple other things here that we're going to use for the frosting. However, this cake is so rich and so delectable that you can't put frosting on it and eat a slice, so you serve the frosting on the side. That's how I do it. And how I make my frosting is with an 8-ounce bar of Philadelphia cream cheese. This is also a can of the whipped cream cheese frosting. I just happen to have the Duncan Hines brand. And I'm also going to use some Ghirardelli premium chocolate sauce, and this is for ice cream topping actually, but we're not using it for ice cream topping, obviously. So let's get started. I'm going to open up my box cake mix. I've got a pair of kitchen shears. These are from Pampered Chef, by the way. I'm going to try to learn to list in the description box to the links for all of the kitchen gadgets and things I used. Today I'll be using my KitchenAid mixer, and my KitchenAid mixer is about 26 years old. It still works fine, so there's no need to replace it. They're expensive to start with, and this was a wedding gift that I had received, so I will keep it as such. I'm going to break my eggs here into my mixing pot, so to speak. I'm going to pour in my milk, and my melted butter. And now I'm going to open up my box of white chocolate Jell-O instant pudding mix. And put that into my pot as well. Let me move some things out of the way here. And I'm going to pull in my KitchenAid mixer. I'm going to beat this with this mixer head. And I'm going to beat this and mix it for about 3 minutes. So if you got your volume up, you might want to turn it down because this is kind of loud. I'm going to raise my bowl up to my mixer, and I'm going to start out at number 1, which is stir, and then I'll eventually go up to number 4, and then when it's finished mixing, I'm going to lower my bowl and beat then at the highest, which is 10 on my KitchenAid mixer, and I'm going to do that just to clean everything off the beater, most everything off the beater. So I'll leave this on for a few minutes while it beats and mixes, and then I will pause the video and come back when I'm ready to add the other ingredients. I leave it on 1 until I know that the eggs are kind of broken up and starting to mix. And when that happens, I'm going to turn it up 1 notch. See that I'm getting a good mix with lots of lumps. Then I'm going to turn it up to 4. Now I'm going to let it mix like that for the next 2.5 minutes. So let me get that mixed and I'll come right back. Okay, I've mixed this up with my KitchenAid mixer. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take some of my Ghirardelli premium chocolate sauce that's actually ice cream topping, and I'm just going to mix in, a healthy 2 tablespoons. Like I said, I eyeball things. So that's what that is. Now I'm going to take my handy dandy Pampered Chef kitchen shears, open my chocolate morsels, and I'm going to pour in about half of the bag. And then I'm going to take my scraper here and mix all of this together. And you can't do this with your mixer because of the chocolate chips, because you don't want them to break down and crush. This way they can melt evenly, and even some of them will stay whole within the baking and make incredible chocolate pockets. Now, I'm not a chocolate eater, and I don't eat it because I don't like chocolate. Don't kick me out of the woman club for that. I know that's grounds for being kicked out, but chocolate's not my thing. My thing is coffee, wine, and potato chips. That's my thing. So we're gonna do that. But my wonderful, loving husband loves chocolate. Chocolate is definitely his thing. So I love making this for him, and I don't make it for him enough, and I need to get better at that. I need to be a better wife. So now I'm going to pour in the rest of my chocolate morsels and fold these in real well. There we go. That looks really well mixed and folded in. Now let's move this out of the way for a moment, and I'm going to bring in my bundt pan. And my bundt pan is very well loved. So when you see it, you're going to know that it's very well loved because it's been used a lot. And I'm going to use some butter flavored cooking spray. I'm shaking it up a little bit. And I'm just going to coat this pan very well with my cooking spray. And I use butter flavored because I can see it, because it turns yellow. That way I know I've got all the spots very well coated. And there we go. Now I'm just going to spoon in my batter mix into my pan. And what you do is we're going to bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. As you can see, the batter is pretty thick, and that's how we want it. We want it nice and thick because it's going to make a nice, dense, very more moist cake. And if you're a chocolate lover, this will be very addictive. And it's also very simple and easy to make. So I hope you guys give it a try. I'm going to scrape off my scraper. And the best thing about these scrapers is you're able to clean your bowl almost perfectly. See, look at my bowl. It's almost completely clean. Run it through there again, and it is basically clean. So now I'm just going to even this up with my scraper so that it bakes a little more evenly. And pardon my finger, but I'm going to use my finger. And I'm definitely not going to lick my finger because I do not like chocolate. Chocolate doesn't like me either. If I try to eat it, it makes me sick. I've been told that I'm probably allergic to it. So there we go. There it is in our pan, looking all beautiful and pretty. Now I'm going to pop this in the oven, like I said a moment ago, at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you how I make the frosting that I put in here and show you how it looks and how it comes out. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back to make the frosting for our Death by Chocolate bundt cake. And I have an 8-ounce bar of Philadelphia cream cheese here in my bowl. And I have my Duncan Hines whipped cream cheese frosting that I am going to put in here as well. And I've put, oh, I don't know, 95% of it here in my bowl. And I've got my handy dandy hand mixer here. And please turn your volume down if you got it up loud, because we're going to beat or mix these two items together. We're going to mix this till it's a creamy mixture. And that looks pretty creamy to me, so we're going to stop our mixer for just a moment.
We're going to step behind you.
Here you are, son.
And now I've got my Ghirardelli premium chocolate sauce. And I'm just going to add about 2 teaspoons or so to that to start with. And now we're going to mix that together. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more chocolate sauce, so this is a little more darker in appearance, which means it's going to taste a little bit more chocolatey. And I added right about the same amount of chocolate sauce as I did the first time, which was about 2 teaspoonfuls. That looks well mixed and looks very creamy and fluffy. So I'm going to pull my mixer slowly out of my bowl while it's spinning before I turn it off. That way it gets most of the goodness off of my beaters. So I'm now done with my beaters. I'm just going to move my mixer over to the side. I'm bringing my cake over. It tore up a little bit because I took it out of the pan. I released it from the pan too soon. So the top here, which was the bottom of my pan, looks a little bit rough, but it still tastes incredible. It just doesn't look as pretty. It's not showcase pretty, I should say. And then what I do with my frosting here that I've made is I just add it to the center of the bundt cake, right down in the center. And that way everybody can take whatever amount of frosting that they want for their cake, because this is incredibly rich and the frosting is incredibly rich. So this way you can choose just how rich you want it to be for your taste buds. So I hope you give this a try, and I'd love to hear what you think of it once you've given it a try. So thanks for watching, and come back to my kitchen real soon. We love you here at Foodie In-Training. Bye.